black swan events tend to create novel law, and if you have a decision in one jurisdiction based on the policy and then the reinsurance agreement is governed by different law, you could end up easily in the situation of Wausau v. Lexington with a black swan type situation.
Okay, we're now going to turn to the second of our two recommendations. That second recommendation is to stress test your wordings. What we're not trying to do is to predict black swans. The importance is not the specific scenario of the stress test. The testing is instead considered how the wording responds to stresses as a general matter and to extrapolate from the specific test. Because the purpose is to identify areas of weakness and to try and address those. And you do that by checking your wording against a variety of kinds of extreme loss that might be unexpected. Now, your stress test should look for unexpected correlations. You could take past experience and known or anticipated emerging risks, imagine extreme scenarios or extensions of those, and then you look for correlations and other surprises, other problems that might emerge. Risk modelers do this and then adjust the models. For wordings, you would do the same. You would examine, for example, the business covered clause, the exclusions, the aggregation wordings, all of those things we've discussed in the context of the test that you're trying, of the stress test that you're trying. This search for correlations is particularly important as the world becomes more and more interconnected. Another stress test that risk modelers use is to reimagine past events that may not have caused large insured losses due to their particular circumstances, and then place those same events in a new context or circumstance where they could cause large insured losses.
So here are a few things to think about when you're doing stress testing thought experiments. Consider the effect of ubiquity. That's part of the problem with asbestos. For a while, asbestos was put into everything, which means that losses weren't limited to particular types of claims, classes of coverage, or types of insureds. So if you look at things that are out there that are very ubiquitous, if there's some sort of event with them, you're more likely to have a black swan and have something that's very expensive. So you would use then these ubiquitous products and look at emerging risks and how they would apply to those products. For example, a study in 2008 published by Scientific American suggested that inhaling carbon nanotubes causes lung damage similar to that caused by asbestos products. Now, that's obviously a concern. It's a concern that just as asbestos, nanomaterials are found in a wide range of products and situations. You have nanotechnology in cell phones and solar panels. It may not necessarily be these nanotubes, but it could be other nanomaterials that have unknown properties that could have unpredicted results. Again, since we're testing for black swans, not just nanotechnology, the important thing to consider is how your current wording would respond to losses that implicate a range of products, types of losses, lines of business, and types of insureds, given what could happen.
To consider whether the scenario you are testing implicates complex systems, and if so, whether it might result in the failure of that system, and also to anticipate that malicious attacks, including but not limited to terrorism, will continue to escalate. These are really separate ideas, but we're talking about them here together to emphasize that when you're doing this stress testing, you should try to bring these ideas together and see how they work